Hey everyone, we're back on Learn How to See Better, the podcast that improves your vision the longer you listen. This is your host, Drew Davis, and today we're going to be talking about something that I think will be useful to all of you. And today's topic is why start with why. And this is particularly specific to goal setting, because you'll hear different things about goal setting and setting targets for your life, for your career, for your personal finances, for your health. And typically, most people aren't concerned with the why when they pick a goal. They're concerned with the what. The what is I'm trying to drop 20 pounds and I'm trying to gain 20 pounds, on my bench press, right? So it's typically tied to a what. It's tied to it's tied to a who, it's tied to the rest of the W's. The when, right? We want everything now. We want it way sooner than we could probably get it. We're thinking about the where, but the most important one is why. And the why is what carries you through. That's why it's more important. The why is what gives you the lasting power. It's more, it's like eating a rich, fatty meal. It's more calorically dense. It's going to give you more fuel to endure the journey that is really a marathon. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. And in the context that I'm talking about, we've been discussing setting a vision for your life and starting where you're at and looking forward into the future a great chunk of time. I think I called out 2030, right? That's far enough in the future to think, wow, 2030, that's out there, okay? So any goals you might be having set for your life or that you want to set for your life, okay, you've got the goal, but what fuels your goal? What's going to be the biggest determinant in whether or not you reach that goal and accomplish that goal, attract that success or not? And it's going to be the fuel and the fire, right? What are you burning? You burning a rich log, or you burning just kindling? Just throw a newspaper on the fire, just quick flame and burst, and you're done, right? So it's important to look at the why behind the goals you set. And why I'm spending the time to talk about this is because we've just been spending a little bit of intimate time together, getting to know each other a little bit better, talking about some of these key core elements to designing and organizing your own life and the vision around it, and how it starts with the different values you've got to have all the way down to the core, and how that immediately transfers over to the core focus that you need to have, and what direction you're going to kind of point. And that's going to help set the stage for what 2030 looks like for you. And when you start to formulate that, you want to have the right intent for those goals. And more importantly, you want to start with the right why, so that you can be fueled with that staying power that's going to push you through the tough times that come with setting any goal. You're going to see conflict right after you set the plan and go forth to conquer in the world, right? So, you just want to think about all that, because it goes so much deeper than the what you get, because it does expand into what you become. Especially when, you look at some of the typical goals that a lot of people set are around physical health and financial health, right? So, both those things, they don't take care of themselves. The person must be involved. So that means there's going to be a required or ongoing effort in either of those arenas. So what is that driving thing? If it's just to satisfy yourself, okay, now I'm rich and now I got an 8-pack, now what, right? Once you achieve those things, is there any continuing driver to motivate you? Because if there's not, then the things you've acquired they'll all just kind of fade away one way or another, right? And so I think it's something we don't want to be short-sighted in the meaningfulness of our goals. And I challenge you all to dig deeper within, your gut, your soul, your heart, whatever you want to call it, and find those more powerful drivers. And sometimes, for some of us, it has to be something external to us. Right? We might not get up out of bed early and take an extra walk around the block for ourselves. But if there's somebody else out there counting on us, depending on us, relying on us, trusting us, having faith in us, knowing that we are going to be the ones to come through, then that almost is a unique pressure that will, in a lot of cases, inspire us. No, I know I need to, but now I know I must. Now I know I've got to. Now I know I will. And those are some of the differentiators that you see, especially when you're in such a world of easy to do, easy not to do. So much of success is easy. So much of the steps to success are easy to do, easy to take, easy to start, but they're also easy to not take, to not start. And so that's essentially the conflict that we all face, is that freedom of choice to just not do it, to just sleep in. I remember times in college, hey, didn't care I had the hardest dang major on campus, or what at least felt like it at the time. We had fun last night. I'm sleeping in today. I'm skipping class, whatever, right? If there wasn't something more important driving me, like, okay, I need to make my parents proud of me because it's important to me, because I want to come through on, the promises I've made to them, that I'm going to be that, proud, respectable son that they raised right, and they get that fair and due ROI. And so we're each driven differently, but to give that time and effort to focus on the why, because it's so much more key than the what. The what will fade. The when, you set a goal. Many times I've had a goal where I achieved it long after the deadline, and it's like, did I stop pursuing the goal because the deadline passed? No, it just meant that I'm a little bit behind schedule. And who's to say when you're supposed to arrive at the success you seek? You'll arrive when you're ready. You will arrive at your destination when you're ready to be there, when you've grown to become the person that's ready to be at that destination. And so with the right reasons propelling you, you're going to make some of those integral decisions, simple adjustments and judgments that you make every day, repeatedly, over a course of time. Compound effect kicks in, and then you look up and, wow, overnight success. But you got to have the right why driving you. And it's funny. It actually reminds me of one of the first times I got introduced to the concept of starting with why, and it came through the form of a book that was actually gifted to me when I was getting started on a journey of personal growth just a few years back. And so, it was a very riveting set of information that helped me look at the world in a little bit different way, and how I apply that knowledge to goals. And what I may try and do is pull a little clip of that, because I think I made a video when I was all jacked up after just reading it and sharing it, and wanting to just kind of talk about it, maybe an impromptu book report of sorts. So I'll pop that in here, and we can get a little quick chance to listen to that little segment, because I think that can probably sum up what I'm trying to say here in a little bit more succinct fashion. Plus I was on a good one that morning, probably highly caffeinated and ready to go and just share it with the world. So let me pause here for effect, and we'll bring that little clip in here, since it's pretty relevant to what I'm talking about.
Start with Why by Simon Sinek. This is a really good book. It's got some potent things that I want to reference, because when all of us had a chance to sit in the hot seat, it was important. There was a consistent theme where we were being challenged by Damon and our peers to say, well, what's your end game? What's your overall focus? What's your end goal? What are you trying to accomplish long term? And it's so important to start with why, because if your why is not strong enough, the what and the how are irrelevant. So whether in this book they're talking about the significance of how Apple computers and Steve Jobs just catapulted to the top of the world as a huge corporate tech giant, all the way to the significance that Martin Luther King Jr. had in his crusade for the civil rights movement, and why that was so powerful over 50 years ago. So again, all of us have a deep, powerful why. If you hit $1 million in a year, or you hit $20 million in your 3-year picture, 5-year picture, 10-year picture, all that is great and well and good, but what's driving you? What would you do when you have all the money? You're out to affect world change? Are you out to, save a family member? What's your driving mission? Keeping that at front of mind is going to be one of those things that help us all push through when the going gets tough. So be sure to get your why to the front of your mind, and think about, forget all the money. What do you do when all your bills are paid on the first? What do you do when you've helped all the people financially that you can? What's still left over to push you? Start with why, okay? So hopefully you guys find that as a good motivation here on this Tuesday. We're getting after it and trying to just make sure we stay focused on our North Star. So we wanted to share that piece of motivation with you and hope you all get after today. Have a good one, y'all.
All right. Yes. So that was what I was talking about. Start with why. And I think that's a great way for us to kind of close out, because as we get the structure put together around this concept of a life-based or a life-focused vision organizer, we're taking these key building blocks and putting them all together. So as you start to combine your core values and your core focus and getting a long-range target in there, called the 2030 plan, so to speak, you start to formulate that strategic outlook on your life and how you live, and just kind of some of those philosophies that you operate by. And I'll talk a little bit more about that probably in the next episode, because I think it's a good place to share what actually happens with that whole process of transformation, electing to evolve into the person that you have to become to achieve your goals and start the process of attracting them. And so I think it'll be good to spend a little bit of time on that and give some additional insights there, because it is a transformation. And positive outlook, positive outcome has always been my motto. And I think it'll be pretty relevant here. So let's go ahead and shut this one down for now so that we can gear up for this next episode. And I'm looking forward to being able to share all this with you guys. And can't wait to catch you on a future episode. So in the meantime, be sure to share this with a friend on whatever platform suits you best. And looking forward to having you and a few additional new friends joining on a future episode. Thanks a lot for now, and catch you next time. See ya.